Hello, everyone. Joining me on the screen is Stephanie right here. She's in the Downriver or Metro Detroit area. I've been doing so many stories about schools lately, and here's another one. Stephanie, good to see you.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, so we're talking about is it the Taylor School District, right?
Yes.
And this isn't the first time I've done stories with that district. They have a lot going on, and what we're talking about here is something that hasn't been published a lot out there in the media. Um, when did you? We'll talk about just this one case with you, not the other cases. When did this first start with you? What we're talking about? Was it when did your child come home and say, "Hey, something happened at school"?
Yes. Well, initially, it actually started where I started going off was I had a board meeting in the beginning of October,
Okay.
and I brought up my concerns about SEL and mental health being implemented into the schools and taking over academics. I was completely dismissed. And then just 2 weeks later, my daughter comes home and she's telling me about a man who came into her school, and he's telling the class that he's a therapist and his place of work. And then it was like a get to know you type of thing.
Okay, going back, is that SEL, social emotional learning? Is that what that is?
Yes, I'm sorry. Yes, social
Oh,
emotional.
and then I think we'll talk about that in a little minute about how they kind of things get twisted, words get twisted. So okay, the therapist they come to class. What your is it your daughter? I'm sorry, your daughter or son?
She's technically my stepdaughter, but I don't
Okay,
have that title.
okay, that's fine. Scepter comes home and says, "Hey, this therapist was in the class talking about whatever." And how'd she describe what was said? And it's glad that she told you.
Oh, yeah. She was just telling me about his likes and how he has dogs, and then asking the children about their likes. He was telling them that he likes to make friendship bracelets, and then he said his place of work. And then he said what his place of work does is therapist. People come there to see him for counseling and therapy.
Okay. Did he tell her why was he at the school?
No.
Okay, so he introduced himself. Did he talk about that they're going to be having classes or they're going to help stop bullying or did he get into any of that, I wonder?
No, I was just under the impression that this was some type of social, emotional, mental health type of thing, especially considering that he mentioned he was a therapist. Why else would he be in the school?
Okay. So that happened and then did you hear nothing more about it? Was it done or what was the next thing that how'd you what else happened?
Mm. From there, I ended up calling the principal because I wanted to know who was in the kids' class and why. And the
Yeah.
only information she could give me is that he was facilitated by Corewell Health. She had no other information. She just said this is something the school is taking on. And
Did
that's
she
where it all spiraled for me.
Okay, did she explain what it is?
No. She had no explanation. She just said this is offered to our fourth and fifth graders, and he would be coming in. Taylor School District had taken it on.
But she didn't go into detail about the curriculum, the he's going to be there, the how many days. She didn't go into detail.
Nope, that's why I said I had to go into my own spiral rabbit hole and find out more details.
Okay, so how did you, as a parent? Some parents wouldn't do that. They'd be like, "Oh, okay," but you wanted to know more. How? What did you do next? Because it doesn't sound like you were getting any answers. A lot of answers from her. What do you do after that?
Well, I was actually surprised that the principal had answered the phone that day because this was obviously after school hours. So I tried calling the Board of Education. I got no answer. So, with her description of where he said he worked, I took her description and I did a little quick Google search and I found out where he works. And it's the Taylor Teen Health Center, which
Okay.
is facilitated by Corewell.
Okay. So you find out that you find out probably who it was eventually. And then
Well, actually, she had mentioned that his name was Mr. John. So when I figured out where it was, I went to Taylor Teen Health Center's Facebook page and I found out who Mr. John was.
okay, a
But it
very
didn't describe what his goal in the school was. I didn't see anything like that. So the next day, because it's after hours, obviously, the next day I then called Taylor Teen Health Center to ask what this program was.
oh, you called them, not this. Okay, did they tell you?
They just told me it was anti-bullying,
Okay.
which typically, I mean, that's okay for some kids. but I teach those morals at home. And this brings me back to my board meeting concerns and why I even brought it up. Is
Okay.
because I teach my kids these things at home, and with anything going on academically, they have their own struggles, and I just want to make sure that those are being met before their social, emotional, or mental health, because that's what I do at home.
Okay. And I know someone's going to push back and say, well, a lot of parents don't. That needs to be dealt with at school.
That's okay. Then we should have the option to opt our children in or out.
Okay. Okay. So there we go. You learn what it's about. And did you learn about how it's going to be a curriculum and all that kind of stuff?
Yes. So from there, I again tried calling the school district. I heard nothing. So I called back to my kids at school, and I ended up asking why there was no opt in and opt out forms. And that's when she informed me that there was no opt in, opt out forms because this is actually the curriculum. She, as in the secretary. So I asked her to have the principal give me a call back because I wanted to follow up with that.
Who told you that? The principal or no? Who told you that?
The secretary had told me that there was no opt in, opt out forms because this is their curriculum.
Okay. So that's a little weird.
Yeah, considering
Then
I
would
was already all over Taylor team or the Taylor School District's health, or I'm sorry, I was all over Taylor School District's page, and there was no curriculum about this. I see no information about it whatsoever.
okay. So what'd you do? Make a call to the principal again or
I waited for her to call me. I got no phone call from her. So the next day, I sent a reminder email. Hey, could you give me a call? I left a message with the secretary. She actually sent me a message in response saying she was directed not to answer my concerns because of her boss being the assistant superintendent.
oh, okay, the people above her. Okay.
Mhm.
So did you give up?
Absolutely not. It just added more fuel to my fire, honestly.
So how then what next? How do you keep pushing?
So then I get a phone call from the assistant superintendent.
Okay.
She called me more concerned. She really started it off with she came across my misleading Facebook post. She was not calling me about my concerns that I left multiple messages for her to contact me back and said it was about my misleading Facebook post. And I instantly, it upset me. So I was, what's misleading about my post?
Okay. That's why she called you back. Didn't call to answer your concerns.
Yep. It's
Okay.
because my Facebook post had gotten attention.
Okay. Did she end up answering the questions you wanted in that call or no?
It actually ended up pretty badly because I already knew all the answers to anything. Because when I called the Taylor Teens Health Center, I was told that it was called the Second Step Program.
Okay.
And I ended up doing my own research into this program.
Okay.
I couldn't really find much. I couldn't get the curriculum at all.
Yeah.
So it kind of turned into a spew of us going back and forth to the point she hung up on me when I said that this is actually DEI.
Okay. Were you swearing at her and everything?
Absolutely not. I came
Okay.
off very respectful and concerned.
Okay. I just want to ask. So you got more information out of the health center place than you did the school.
Yes. And
Okay.
actually, I asked them what their protocol was when it comes to opt in and opt out. And they said that the schools, they do an opt in, opt out, but it's not up to the schools to send that out to the parents. But in my opinion, if that's how it goes, then shouldn't they, before entering the school, shouldn't Taylor Teen Health Center be getting those opt in and opt out forms to make sure that they're actually able to enter the schools?
You would think. Um, okay. So you ended up finding out what the curriculum is, kind of, right?
By my own research.
So you went online, you probably double check, you cross reference this and that, and through a lot of stuff online, you ended up finding like the name of it or whatever.
Yes, and actually, I got into a pretty big rabbit hole and I reached out to a parent who is from Washington and Oregon, Washington.
Oh boy.
He had wrote a concerning post about Second Step. I ended up reaching out. I felt completely strange doing this, but I needed to know. So I asked him, and he said his second grader came home with a curriculum that was about self pleasure and, yeah, and building friendships.
Okay. Now you
And
don't
from
know if
there,
that
my wheels were turning. He said, because you've already made it this far with the school district, if they offer you to see the curriculum, make sure that you pay as much attention as possible because they are not going to let you take pictures or anything.
Okay. So did you request then to see it?
Uh, of course I did. This
Yeah.
was my first initial request, was to see that curriculum and to have an option to opt in and out.
Okay. So basically, you're a parent. You wanted to see this curriculum that was going to be presented to your child. And I'm assuming the school district said, absolutely, come on and take a look, right?
Sure, not necessarily. Instead, the following Monday, let me actually. So the second step program that's coming into the schools, I was told that they are coming in every Tuesday for 30 minutes a day.
Okay.
And this is when I was under the impression it's a curriculum with no opt-in and opt-out forms. With that being said, hold on, I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry.
No, the curriculum. I was going to say they didn't invite you in at that point when you asked for it. They didn't say here it is.
No. From there, they sent out a letter home to us parents, and that was for our opt-in and opt-out. And from there, it's also a curriculum viewing, which was for Thursday. Mind you, they gave us this notice to opt our children out 24 hours prior to the curriculum, the people coming back into the school.
Yeah.
24 hours prior, expecting us to send our kids to school the next day with this opt-out form for these people, only to be able to view the curriculum 2 days later. And I also raised concerns about this. How is he entering the class without us viewing this curriculum? This is the whole entire problem from the start.
Yeah. So they probably wouldn't have done any of this if you wouldn't have pushed, probably.
They absolutely, come to find out, it's been going on in Taylor School District for a couple years.
Wow.
And nobody's ever raised concerns. There was no opt-in, there was no opt-out until I raised my concerns. And at the end of this opt-out letter, it's kind of funny how it states the reason they took so long to send out this opt-out letter is because they wanted to make sure they gave the parents as much information as possible. So then how would they have this person back into the school? Well, he's returning to the school. That's already a problem. Our curriculum viewing isn't for 2 days after his return to the school. Even though I was told by the superintendent, she actually told me that he only came in for an introduction. I still was not informed.
Okay. So I'm going to try to speed it up. So you get to go to look at this curriculum. You get to go to the school to look it over, right?
Yep.
So what was that process like? I'm assuming I know the answer, but I'm assuming they come in, they give you a chair, you can sit there for hours if you want and look it all over.
There was one binder for all the parents.
So a bunch of parents come in and there's only one copy of the curriculum. What did y'all have?
Unfortunately, a bunch of parents didn't come in because the day they scheduled this curriculum viewing was from 11 to 12. Our children had a half a day that day. So our children were out of school. I had to be at parent pickup at 11:30. I chose to keep my kids home so I could make it to that.
Wow. So you went in there. So you only had, and you were limited to like an hour.
Yes.
So could you look over a lot of it or not really?
No, not at all.
You looked over some of it, I assume.
I did, but I was also being hovered because they wanted to talk to me to find out. They were really upset about my Facebook post.
Okay. So they
I
didn't
was actually told by the superintendent when I left, she asked me to clean up my Facebook, to clean up the mess I made in Facebook.
Wow. So they didn't let you sit in a room by yourself to look it all over quietly. No. Okay. So what after that then I get you opted your child out.
Of course I did.
Okay. And
But
then
actually, because we were given a chance to see the curriculum viewing, and only being after he was coming back into the school, I ended up contacting the board president.
Okay.
Which was a very interesting conversation. In that conversation, she told me that she was unaware of the curriculum until 4 days prior to me calling.
Oh.
She spoke about our children in kind of a union negotiation, they get some and we get some. She told me to get a lawyer if I did not like this. This is the board president.
Wow.
Yeah.
So this was not like approved curriculum.
Huh. Actually, right after I left the curriculum viewing, the superintendent sends out a message to all parents talking about social emotional and why it is so important in his personal reason. And in there, he states that this is a non district approved curriculum.
And
Then,
that I think that's online, right? He put that on the website as well.
yes,
Was that like his letter to the parents or something?
yes.
Okay. And that's where he went on and talked about like some personal stuff and
Yes, it was how he could have used it as a child and his
okay.
reasoning why. And I do understand that some of this can be beneficial to those who need it, but it is taking over our academics. Michigan, Taylor, like these children can't read and write. We got 30% passing scores right now.
Well, yeah, the whole state is having issues with education, obviously. Let me bring this up on the screen and show you. I think I found what you're talking about, but I'm not sure. What's his name? Wegger, Michael Wegger?
Yes,
I've reached out to him before, and they've he's never gotten back with me. So I gave him a chance. Was this? You probably can't read it, but is this the letter? It looks like or is this maybe his just main page?
that may be his main page. And
He's
actually,
he's
if you are to do a quick read through in
yeah,
that, you're going
he's
to see
talking
it.
about social justice and
Yeah, and how he is implementing DEI in our schools.
yeah, basically. So that sounds like a whole other issue then. Okay, so the curriculum, you opted your child out. What do you know about the curriculum? And some people are watching this probably saying, "Well, what? Why does she have a problem with it? What's wrong with it? Is the problem is you don't know what's in it?"
I mean, yeah, that's part of the problem, but I also didn't get a chance to look over it like that. It seemed to me by some of the lesson plans that they're doing that there is a hidden agenda in it.
The one thing you sent me that I put out the even the basic question, "What your gender?" Was that part of it?
Yeah, that was a survey for the students.
That would be part of this class or whatever.
Yes.
Okay, let me put that on the screen because that got a lot of people concerned. So you found this. Did you find this on your own, or was this part of the? Did you take a picture of this, or how did you get this?
This was sent home to the parents.
Oh,
Only after my concerns were raised. Only after.
okay. So all the curriculum wasn't sent home, just like bits and pieces of it.
It was just the lesson plan, and actually, there was an added part of the lesson plan, which is called Slick Tracy, even though when they wrote out this thing, it was called Slick Trick. But if
Yeah.
you look at the lesson plan, it's actually Slick Tracy, and that's for alcohol prevention. This curriculum is actually only for sixth graders and up. My child's in fifth.
Okay, so they sent you a very basic of what it is. They didn't go into detail, but the one thing they did say this is what the kids would look at, and they wanted to mark male, female, or other. Some people had a problem with that because that alone is kind of getting the wheels going in a different direction. So did this alone does that raise your eyebrows like okay, well
100%. My 11-year-old doesn't understand outside of being a girl. She does not understand her brothers outside of being a boy. She knows there's two genders.
okay, so when you saw this, you were thinking
I don't
okay,
want her answering questions like that.
if they're doing this, what else is in there then? That's your
Oh,
that's your like
100%. And like
okay.
I said, stating back from that parent from Oregon, he had said his second graders curriculum included things like uh, what was it, self pleasure and building friendships. This is
Wow.
second grade.
So the goal, and people might be watching, if it's anti-bullying and treating everyone with respect, I think everyone would hopefully be on board with that. But the fact that you think there's other things in there that it's taking a narrative or a DEI or it's going in a direction that you don't want your kids going down.
Yeah, some of the lessons include gender questions, and the add-on of the second. No, I'm sorry, the add-on of that Slick Tracy. That's for alcohol. And John, the man who was in my child's class, he is only certified for teaching alcohol prevention.
Okay. So why so at no point were you able at no point were you able to go into the school and just sit down in a room and just look over everything, all of the curriculum. You still haven't been able to do that.
No, I was actually, when I was there, I was told by the board president that I would receive a hard copy when I came to the curriculum viewing.
Oh,
She didn't give me a hard copy when I asked for it. Instead, she said it would be emailed. I never received it.
okay. So still we you don't know what's in there, and I think that the crux of this story is parents, any parent, you should be able to ask on any curriculum, right? I mean, whether it be math or English, whatever, you should be able to look over what your kids are
Well,
learning.
of course, they're bringing home that homework. I got to know how to do it with them.
Yeah. So why are they so? It comes across as they're like hiding something.
That's honestly how I feel, is that there's something. I mean, they hid that this person was even coming to the school. They hid the whole curriculum until I raised concerns. So clearly, there is something behind this that they weren't informing us.
Okay. So your child's not in there, but maybe other parents may not have even known about this. I mean, who knows? Um, what is your message to other parents across the state? Because this stuff might be happening everywhere. Do you just want parents? They need to push more because some parents might be like, "Oh well, I can't do anything."
Uh, yeah, of course, we need to push harder. We should be involved. And, a lot of that, being informed is one thing, but being an involved parent is another thing. And I ensure to my children that I am an involved parent. They see how hard I just fought. And actually, when my daughter went to school that Tuesday after receiving the opt-in, opt-out, I actually did not turn it in with her because that's what I was told by the board president, not to turn it in until I could view the curriculum. So I wanted to ensure that she wasn't going to be part of this. So I wrote a little letter to the teacher. And when the teacher went to collect that from her, she said, she could have just signed the permission slip saying she didn't want you in it. She wasted her time. To me, that implies to my daughter that everything I did was a waste of time, because my daughter went to school that day knowing that the only reason there was a permission slip is because I pushed it.
Yeah. Okay. And your other point is that schools in Michigan are failing. Reading, math, English scores have been down statewide. We have major issues with education, the basics, math, English, science. Your point is that needs to be the focus.
100%. I have three children in the same school, and they're all struggling, all three of them. And that is so hard for me to admit because I don't know how to help them. I depend on the schools to do that. I don't need the schools to do things like raise my children emotionally, teach them self regulation. I've taught them that.